Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Good to see you guys. Going live here. Oh, back at home, back at my own space, so I feel a little bit more comfortable. As much as I love being at the sanctuary and caring for all the animals, it's a lot of work, and it's nice to get back home and just have my own space. Okay, for those of you who are watching this on the replay, alrighty, we got folks joining. It's good to see you guys. For everyone who is watching this on the replay, just give it a minute or two, scroll a little forward, scroll ahead a little bit if you'd like to. Fast forward a little bit. I try to give it a minute or two to see everybody who joined. Sharon, how you doing? Hey, Sharon. I'm doing a reading tonight for Harley. Sherry, nice to see you. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll go ahead and dive right in. Hi, Diane. How are you? Oh my gosh, you guys. Diane, we're doing a reading for Loki. So I'm so glad that you guys jumped on because I didn't have a chance to notify anybody about the reading. So Loki and Harley. And I have some interesting things to share. David, thanks for joining. Nice to see you guys. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, just scroll ahead a minute or two. We're giving everybody a minute to jump on. I know now why. Sometimes I watch these live streams like professional live streamers, and I see they have this like 10-minute wait. Well, now I know why they do that. But neither here nor there, because that drives me crazy. So I like to dive right in. And tonight we're going to be talking about signs. Last week we talked about forgiveness, and that's one of the ways to begin opening yourself to connect with your animals on the other side. Kimberly, it's good to see you. That's one of the ways to begin to open yourself to receive messages from your animals on the other side and to connect with them. And we are going to talk tonight about signs. I love to do stuff on signs. I did a whole series on angel numbers. If you guys want to go back and check some of the shorts, I did the numbers. I think I started with one through, and then when the 0 was the last one. But angel numbers and what they mean and why your animal companions actually use angel numbers to send you signs, because they really catch your attention. So let me know that you can see and hear me okay. As always, I fuss with my lighting because I'm not I'm brand new to this. I'm sure as the videos go on, they'll get better and better. But Julie, it's good to see you. But for now, it is what it is. And I'm just going to have to learn to live with it until I figure out how to do this. Okay. And here's the thing. I did a little video earlier today. It won't post until tonight. Until midnight, I want to say. But I did a video because somebody reached out to me and actually said, Elaine, thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate that. 18 Muses, nice to see you. Somebody said to me, perhaps your videos could be a little bit more professional. And I really did have to laugh because I thought, no animal has ever critiqued me. No animal has ever said anything about the quality of my videos. They just love them. And that's who counts, right? Anyway, the point of that whole video was that you don't need to be perfect. You just have to do. And your animals really just want you to be with them even when they're here in life and after life. They just want you to spend time with them and be with them and be who you are, perfect and imperfect. Rebecca, yeah, professional. Right? That's what they said. I think you could be a little bit more professional. Okay, so here we go. And that's my smart Alex side coming out. Let's start talking about signs. I want to talk about why animals use signs, how we look for signs, what kind of signs to look for. And look at you guys saying hi to everybody. And thank you, 18 Muses. I appreciate that. Because I can't be anybody but me. And this is who I am. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we see signs, what kind of signs we see, why animals use signs to connect with us, where we see them, how we find them. We're going to go into all that. And I started off the little intro here, the comments that I put in, that our animals use signs, or that I tell my clients. So I have a lot of, it just seems to have evolved. My Reiki practice has now primarily for animals on this side of life, has become for animals who are approaching the end of life. So I help animals work through confusion, pain, and manage their lives as they age. And then also the families. So I work with families to help them figure out how to create peaceful times, how to create a peaceful end of life for their animal companion, and how to keep it from being anticipatory grief. And that's going to be a topic for another day. That's one of the videos coming up is going to be one of the live streams. It's going to be about anticipating grief. So anyway, I tell them to look for a sign right away. Immediately, every single animal sends a sign the moment that they cross. And most people aren't aware of it because they're not taught to look for it. So a couple things can happen. First, an animal can cross like Winston did, my Winston, who crossed without me being present. And so I didn't know to look for a sign. I wasn't on the watch for a sign, and I suggest that you do look for signs. It can be that some animals, particularly cats, for those of you who were human companions to cats, if I could just get this message out to every person who shared their life with a cat, when it comes time for a cat's end of life, they are very private. They're very private. And if they were to grant you the greatest gift of you being present at the time that they chose to cross, unless you're assisting the crossing, which is also a topic for another time, unless you're assisting the crossing, most cats will hide. They'll find a private place. Sometimes they leave the home. They go outside. And that's just the way that cats are. They're very private when they cross. So a situation may happen where we're not aware of our animal companion crossing, so we don't know to look for a sign. But for those who are assisting their animals in crossing, or for those who are with their animals in the last moments of life, I always say, watch for a sign. And Lucy is the one who showed me this. It was immediate. And her sign, she showed me multiple signs. The first time when Lucy crossed, it was August of 2020. And when she crossed, we were in a yard at the veterinary office outside. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. Everything was done outdoors, but it was beautiful for us anyway. We were outdoors. And at the moment she crossed, she took one big, beautiful breath. And the release of that breath, there's no way for me to describe it other than her passing through us. There were 4 of us there, the vet, myself, my daughter, and another veterinary technician. We have Lucy spread out in front of us. The vet was kind of at her head. And when she took this breath, we all felt it pass through us. It was the oddest sensation I had ever felt. And the veterinarian commented out loud, "Did you feel that?" And how could you not have felt? Yes, we all felt it. We all felt it. So right away, that was my first sign that she had a soul. My first sign that confirmed, I always knew it, but my first sign that confirmed that her spirit, her essence, her soul was gliding to heaven. It was ascension is what literally it was ascension. And that's what we felt, the first sign. And then of course, as soon as we got home, we got a rainbow. As soon as we got home, I took a picture of it, this beautiful double rainbow over our condo building. Absolutely stunning. But we're going to talk more about those types of signs in a minute. And I am going to just look at comments real quick. I'm going to try not to keep going back and forth. I know it can be distracting, but I'm going to take a quick look. Mystical Designs, had to put Sweet McGee to rest this morning. Heartbroken and heartsick. Need to know what sign. Okay, good. We're going to be talking about that. Oh, and does he forgive you? I promise you, this was, go back and watch last week's live stream. They hold no grudges. On the other side, it's not even not holding any grudges. When I meditated and asked the question, am I forgiven? Because there was something specific I was asking Jack about, am I forgiven? And the response that I got was, forgiven, it does not compute. When they transition and their soul ascends, they become pure, positive love. There is no judgment. There is no lack of forgiveness. And when we talk about euthanasia, which is one of the upcoming videos, when we talk about euthanasia and assisting our animals to cross, no animal that I've ever connected with has ever indicated that it was too soon. Like no animal ever said, "Oh, I wish my mama hadn't done that. I wish it hadn't been this soon. I had more things I wanted to be done." Not ever. Hundreds of animals I've now connected with over the years, and not a single one has ever indicated that. In fact, they indicate just the opposite. They indicate gratitude. They share such a deep sense, a profound sense of thankfulness for helping to ease their suffering. Because our animal companions, I know you guys know this, our animal companions stick it out through the pain. They are very good at hiding pain, very good at hiding illness. They stick it out for us. And so when we help assist them with the transition, I'm getting into the next video stuff, so I don't want to go too far down that road. You are forgiven. Let's put it that way. You are forgiven. Okay, let's talk about signs. And thank you guys for supporting each other and for comforting each other as we go through this and help each other heal. I do this from a perspective of someone who was a dog mom to 3 seniors, and now I'm totally dedicated to special needs. My gypsy special needs, and I understand what comes with that, with bringing in seniors. And going forward, I know because of this that if there are senior dogs that need a home, I'll be the one who'll be taking them in. Okay, let's talk about signs. Why? Why do our animal companions use signs? It's really because it's the quickest way to get through to us. And it's not just our animal companions who do this. It is our human companions who have crossed to the other side as well. Diana, how you doing? It's our human companions. I'm sorry, I just saw one more comment. I have to jump in on here. It's not they who forgive us, but how can I forgive myself? Go back to last week's live stream. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. That was way too many ponos. Ho'oponopono is all about self-forgiveness. We're the ones who need to forgive ourselves, and it's a beautiful way to offer forgiveness to yourself, and it's very healing, very, very healing. So why do they use signs? Because it's the quickest way to get through to us. The way that they get through to us is to catch our attention. I personally some days would like a neon sign. Okay, I would like a literal neon sign that says, "Hi, it's me, Jack." But I don't. Sometimes you get that. Sometimes you get a billboard or a name on a license plate or something. But for the most part, it's a sign that gets our attention. And they can sometimes be very subtle. There are other times more obvious. But they use it because signs, unique things, are a way to get our attention. And I have some examples that I'm going to give you. And if anybody else, I'm going to put this in there now. I'm not going to try and read them all right now. But if you have ever received a sign from your animal companion at any point after they've crossed to the other side, please put it in the comments, because I'd love to know what those are. So the signs that we receive as they cross. I've felt the breath. I've seen a rainbow. One of my clients has reported to me a shooting star. There was other rainbows are very common, so don't be surprised if there's a rainbow. An instantaneous wind, like out of nowhere, the wind just starts to blow. That's another common one that happens. We're talking instant, the signs that happen at the moment of their crossing. You may hear their name, you may hear them bark, you may hear them meow. You'll hear or feel something very apparent to you that you're like, oh my gosh, yes, that is my sign. Now I'm going to tell you that the person who saw the shooting star, because this leads into the next topic. Where do we find them? How do we find them? The person who saw the shooting star did not let me know. It's one of the veterinarians that I work with, and she didn't let me know in advance that her little dog was having an assisted crossing. I think it came on very suddenly, and she didn't let me know in advance. And afterwards, when she reached out to me, and she said, I remembered that you said I should look for a sign right away, but I was too heartbroken at the moment. I was too overwhelmed at the moment to even think about receiving a sign. And I said, that's fine. It's really, there is nothing to worry about. You missed your sign? Nope, you didn't miss it. All we need to do is ask for it. And we'll talk about this in just a minute too. All you need to do is ask. Just say it with all your heart and with all your intentions, set all your love behind it, ask them. And that night, she texted me back to say, my wife and I were driving down the road, and this shooting star, the biggest shooting star we've ever seen in our lives, went right in front of our windshield as we're driving. And it was my wife who said, oh, that's our sign. And they knew then that it was the sign. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm just going to look at a couple of comments. Caroline, how you doing? Oh my gosh, good to see you here. I've been asking for signs for the past 6 weeks. Okay, a brown butterfly was on the handle of car door. Butterflies, 100%. Butterflies, dragonflies, two of the more common ones. I don't know the reason why dragonflies and butterflies and cardinals, those kinds of things, not 100% sure the reason behind them. I just know that it happens all the time. So, yep, if that butterfly lands on your car door, that I would take that as a sign. Let's see. Julie says, a friend's dog had DM and had problems controlling his bowels. Closed room and very distinctly smelled poo. What? The smells that they send us, we can't disregard them. I'm going to talk about smells and sounds and tastes and all those amazing signs. And AT Musa says, has gotten so many amazing signs. Kenny, good to see you. Good, the gang's all here. Okay, so instant signs that you might look for if you are in the heart space and the head space to receive them. And I know that those times can be emotionally overwhelming, but to receive a sign immediately like that is it helps the healing already begin. So I'm going to share some examples. Then I'm going to share the story about Jack and also Winston. All three had rainbows. Lucy, Jack, and Winston all sent me a rainbow. But first, I want to tell you Jacks, because Jacks are just the kinds of signs that I want people to really start looking for, because they're very unique. And if we're aware of them, then we'll see them. So butterflies, angel numbers. So like 3 or 4 numbers in a row, 111, 222, or multiple numbers in a row. Sometimes it could be their birth date. If you're aware of their birth date, that may come up a lot. So they'll use numbers because those recurring numbers catch our attention. They catch our attention. And we usually just write it off as coincidence. But it's not, there's no such thing as coincidence. There are only synchronicities. So we look for those angel numbers. What else? Oh, coins. If you start finding coins in the most unusual places, pennies, dimes. I've been hiking on a trail in the back country of Colorado and found 3 dimes. No explanation for why they should be there. Whenever coins show up for me, I take it immediately as a sign. In my old life, I probably would have looked at these things as coincidences. Now I make note of them. And when I see them, I stop and I take a moment and I thank my animal companions for being with me. Thank them for joining me. Thank them for walking the trail with me. Thank them for walking the journey of life with me from the other side. That's what I do. Okay, so coins, rainbows, shooting stars. You may hear or see their name. If I could just read my hand. Oh, a song. If there's a song that they liked, you may hear that song come on the radio. You may hear the song just out of nowhere. All of a sudden, you may just hear music that reminds you of them. That's another way. And then I want to talk, before I tell you Jack's story, I want to talk about synchronicity. So I'm going to read a couple more comments. My little Toby boy passed in the morning. That night, I woke with a verse in my ear. Yep. And sends rainbows all the time. Beautiful. Sends me her transition day. Oh, how interesting. Very interesting, the transition day. It means something different to them than it does to us. For us, the transition day can be a memory of pain. For them, it's a memory of the next leg of their most amazing journey. And so for them, it's a memorable number that they don't mind sharing with us. Okay, which reminds me of Jack. So I want to share that with Jack. He's my yellow lab. He crossed December 1st of 2021. And this comes up a lot. And I think that's one of the things that's going to come up with Harley when I do Harley's reading. Harley's human had 4 doggies cross within a year. I had my 3 cross within a year. Winston and Lucy within 1 week of each other. And then within the year, Jack had crossed as well. But when Jack crossed, I was prepared for the sign. I was ready for the sign, and I didn't get the sign. And he also had an assisted crossing. And I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. He passed so peacefully. It was literally dropping off to sleep. There was no big breath like Lucy. There was no, so I've been through many of these. I've held hands and cried tears and had my arms wrapped around different doggies, different kitties, a horse, a goat. And there is a certain pattern. There's a certain flow of things that happen as their life transitions to the other side. And Jack simply fell asleep. That's all. He fell asleep and I didn't see a sign. So that night, as I was falling to sleep, I asked for a sign, and that's all you need to do. I asked for a sign. And I drifted off to sleep with that thought in my mind, because that's the magic spot that I call the sweet spot between awake and asleep. That sweet spot where your conscious mind is starting to drift off and your subconscious mind takes over. That's when we can make the easiest connection with our animal companions. So I asked for a sign, and I think I've told you guys this story even on these live streams because it's one of my favorites. I woke up the next morning to the sound of Jack drinking from the toilet. And I was still in that half awake state, and Jack drank from the toilet. And I would typically say to him, just like I did, I said out loud, "Jack, please don't drink from the toilet. Must you drink from the, and then of course it struck me. I was like, he's drinking from the toilet, but he's not here. So his body was not there, but he was there. And the way that he showed me was with that sound. So if your animal companion had a habit or a sound that they make, maybe their nails clicking on the floor, the way their tail wagged, the way they barked, the way they meowed, the way they purred, whatever it may be, if your animal companion did something unique, that's one of the things that you can keep an eye out for. And you can ask them at any time. I don't care whether it's been a day, an hour, a day, a year, or 10 years. You can ask them at any time to show you those signs. And they want to connect with us. They want to show us these signs because they want us to know that that life continues, that there is an afterlife, and that they are in that afterlife, and we are still connected. Our animals come into our life for a reason. It's all set up. They know that they're coming to be here with us and that they will always be with us, which is a message I can't wait to share with Loki's human. Okay, so, I want to bring up synchronicity. That's the other thing that happens. I used the word a couple times already, synchronicity. And earlier before this live stream, and I'm not sure that she's on because I'm not sure what country she's in, but Katerina reached out to me to say that the picture I posted of the cat, which I make all my own graphics, by the way. I use a little program and I love playing with that stuff and I pull all my pictures together. So I was inspired to look up Himalayan cat. So I created that little visual of a cat with some signs around it. She reached out to say that it looks just like her cat, and she took that as a sign, which 100% synchronicity, that would be a sign. And for some reason, I did not have an intention of selecting a Himalayan cat for that picture. I was just prompted to search for that. And it was because somebody else needed to see that. And I have no way of knowing in advance who needs to see or hear the things that I say. And I know when I do the readings tonight, there may be some things in here that pop up for other people. So we're going to see how I just always go with that. I go with the flow and know that the animals are kind of guiding this spirit, universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to say. It's all together. They are guiding these conversations. Okay, so the other thing I want to tell you about Jack, this is something else to look for. Theme song of Friends. I'm just looking at real quick. Her name, felt a nudge. Oh, the nudges. I love feeling the nudges. I love feeling them jump onto the bed. Lucy had a certain girth about her, to put it nicely, sweetheart. Lucy had a certain girth about her. So when she jumped on the bed, you knew she jumped on the bed. So I love that feeling as well. It's one of those most obvious feelings when they jump on the bed. When a kitty cat jumps on the bed, it's so soft. It's just so very soft. Okay, but regardless. So the other thing for Jack was what we called a street artist. That's what my neighbors called him, that he did street art. Towards the end of his life, for the last year or so, he had trouble with urination and he had trouble controlling it. So as soon as we walked out the door, he would start. He wasn't even aware that he was urinating, but he would walk down the street and it would make the most beautiful little designs. There's no other way to put it. They were so cute, and it would trail and it would go for like a half a block before he was done. And the neighbors would joke, that it was his street art, and they enjoyed coming out and seeing it every morning. So that same morning that he was drinking out of the toilet, and I took a picture of it. I'm going to have to get it so I can post it for you guys. It's on here somewhere. I walked outside the door and there was street art. There clearly another dog had to do it. And so Jack used that other dog to lead me that sign, but I walked out the door and there was Jack's street art with no way for it to be there because he was on the other side. So look for any of those signs. I want you to be wide open to the possibilities when it comes to the signs that you get from our animals. I'm just going to we've got tons of time. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at some comments real quick and see what we've got. Theme song to Friends. Attributing sounds and smells to wishful thinking. Just because I miss her so much. That is the other reason that we sometimes miss those signs, because we think, I wish that was her. But then you get something concrete like street art. How can you ignore it? When you get anything, any synchronicity, anything that you think is signs, smells, sounds, if you receive any of those things, I would take a moment, if at all possible, take a moment and just stop for a minute. stop for a minute and think about what you're feeling. Like, do you feel a sudden sense of comfort? Do you feel a sudden sense of, like, I was so comforted to see Jack's street art. I was so comforted to hear that drinking from the toilet. It's always comforting when I feel them jump on the bed. Like some nights I want them. I ask them, jump on the bed, jump on the bed. But it doesn't seem to be the nights that I ask for that I receive that. But they frequently jump on the bed. So I would suggest that these are not just wishful. It's not just wishful thinking. They're true. They're real. It's the only way that our animals have to get through to us. They're on the other side of life. They are not physically present with us. So the only way they have to get through to us is through signs. And the more open we are to receiving them, the more we will receive them. It's the law of attraction, even though the law of attraction, that's a whole topic for another day. It's the law of correspondence, I think, is the correct way to put that. That the way that when it makes you feel comforted and whole, you'll receive more things from them that help you feel comforted and whole. Okay, let's continue on. I'm going to look at these for a couple more signs. Shirley, hi Shirley, says that she saw 333 yesterday. 333, looked it up. Angels are watching, and pursue your gift. Okay. And what about when 5 dogs jump on the bed? That surely is true. What about when all of them jump on the bed? That's too funny. Nunya, very nice to see you. I hope that I said that right. Some of the names, and YouTube gives everybody a little handle, and so it's sometimes I don't always know, and sometimes I don't pronounce the names correctly, and I apologize if that's the case. All right, so that's why they use signs to contact us, because they want to get our attention, and it's the only way they have to communicate with us. Animal communication is not necessarily what you think it is, and we can talk about animal communication in another video too, if you like, and go over some more details about how we can actually communicate with them. And by communicate, I mean share information, receive information from them, and share information back. And that's animal communication at a whole different level. But we also want to think about their perspective. Animals have a very unique perspective. When you think of a cat or a dog and how close they are to the ground, if you had a bird who's always been in a cage, even if you've had like Beardy, the bearded dragon, if I had a sense, if I remember correctly from Beardy's reading, a real sense of warmth, like a sense of red light warmth. And that comes from his environment where he was, where his little space was, his little home was. So think about your animal's perspective, and then sometimes the signs are a little bit easier to see. Or if your animal had a unique behavior, those are often easier to see. A sound, a smell, even funny taste in your mouth can be something that you want to look for. Okay. None. Nunya. Okay. I probably butchered it again. All right. How do we do it? So let's say that you have not ever received a sign from your animal companion and you want a sign from your animal companion. It is as simple as asking, but you may want to do a couple things first. You may want to do a quick ho'oponopono, which is a little act of self-forgiveness. I talk about this all the time, that animals, I got it. Okay. That animals, when they cross to the other side, like they pass into pure positive love, and our grief holds us down here. And it's hard for that communication to occur. When we can come up just a little bit, rising out of the grief. And maybe I'll bring this on one time too. There is a scale of emotions, and the denser emotions. I'm not going to say negative, because we have them for a reason and we feel them for a reason. I don't think that we should ever turn off our emotions, but we can manage our emotions, and we don't let our emotions control us. We control our emotions. So there are some days when I feel a sense of grief that can be overwhelming, and I'll feel it. I'll lean into it. And if I cry, I cry, but then I try to raise myself up. I'm going to tell you that anger is a step up the scale. So if you are deep in the grief and deep in guilt, and just that feeling that you're not ever going to come out of it, get yourself pissed off. Just get angry, because that raises you up just a little bit. And when you get angry, then you pull yourself out of anger to acceptance, maybe. And there's probably things in between. But anyway, I'm just kind of giving you an example that there's ways to pull yourself up And Ho'oponopono is one of those ways that helps to calm and quiet all those denser emotions and helps to raise your energy level just a little bit. So it's about matching vibration and frequency. So you raise your vibration and your frequency just a little bit, and they are able to come meet us part way. They want to be able to help us. And I think that even when we're down here, they're still chattering away at us, trying to get our attention. But we just aren't seeing it. We can't see or hear it. So when we raise ourselves up a little bit, it helps them reach us a little bit easier. So do a little practice, a little self-forgiveness practice or breathing. We talk a lot in my courses about breath work. There are different forms of breathing. Every culture, every spiritual tradition has a different form of breathing and different things that we might do. Breathing in the Japanese Reiki tradition is called Hara breathing, and it's about breathing in energy to your core, which is down here right below your belly button, and then exhaling back to the universe, the things, the emotions that don't serve you. I love to do something called the velvet bag technique, where I will close my eyes and I will breathe in, and I call it fresh energy. I breathe in beautiful, fresh energy. And in my mind's eye, I visualize this beautiful velvet bag, and it's sitting under my favorite tree. And I take all the emotions that aren't serving me right now, and I imagine that they're placed into the velvet bag. I let all those emotions, sadness, grief, worry, anger, doubt, depression, into the bag you go. For now, I only need to do this for a few minutes. I want a few minutes of peace for myself, peace of mind for myself, so that I can have an open connection to my animal on the other side. And then as I'm visualizing this velvet bag sitting under the tree, I just pull this little drawstring closed and the whole bag closes up. And I'm thinking to the tree, thank you for hanging on to these for me. I'll be back in a few minutes, but thank you for hanging on to those for me while I sit here. And then I can sit in a place of peace and calm and quiet and ask for a sign or ask for a feeling or ask for a connection. And when I'm done, sometimes I just get a sense of comfort, which for me is beautiful, a sense of comfort. And then when you're all done, if you've got your sign or you set the intention to receive your sign, you've made the connection with your animal and said, later today, I would love to see my sign. Whatever you want to show me, I'm going to be open to receive. And then you can, if you'd like to, you can collect your negative, shouldn't say that. You can collect your denser emotions from your velvet bag and bring them all back in, or you can leave them there if you want to. Sometimes I choose not to go back to them. I don't need all that stuff. So that's one way to do it. Another way is, say, breath work, the velvet bag technique. I can't think of the other thing that I was going to say for you. I'm sorry, I got distracted because neighbors were knocking on the door, but my hubby got it, so we're all good. Okay. How to open your heart and quiet your mind. That's the goal, is to just quiet your mind from all that chatter that goes on. Open your heart. And it's a literal thing. It's called heart coherence. When you can be coherent and balanced, so your mind is not racing at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Your heart is not shattered in pieces. Right now, you're just balanced. That's all you need is balance. And then you can ask. I just ask to receive. All right, let me see if there that's funny. Ho'oponopono gets you angry. Okay, well, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to help you. As I knock everything over, whatever it takes to help raise your vibration and your frequency so that you can connect with your animal companion. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to say about that? Ask, be open, and then watch. Watch for the signs. Be open. I would keep vigilant all day long to see what kind of signs might come through for you, and be open for all the possibilities of the potential signs. Sometimes I write things down and then I'll go back and look at them later and decide whether or not this is a good question. Do we need to acknowledge the signs out loud, or do they know if you do it with your mind? You don't need to acknowledge anything out loud unless you choose to. Like, there are times when I have. Just today, I was walking down the street and I was talking to my dogs on the other side, and it was just a little conversation that between me and them. My neighbor saw me. I'm like, yeah, I just talked to myself. You can speak them out loud if you want. I love to write them down. My thing is automatic writing. my pen that's connected to the universe, my paper. I love to write everything down. And I just was actually going back through some of my journals. I'll have to pull some out for you guys next time. I write down everything. I write down angel numbers. I write down when I receive different signs, what I think that they mean, what has come through for me at any particular time that I get a sign. And I do it just for me, for validation, because this is what I do. This is what my clients ask for as well. I like to make sure that I have, I just keep myself validated. I like to validate the information that I receive from the other side. But you don't have to. You don't have to write it down. You can just remember it because you'll see them time and again. You don't have to, like, it's not like you're only going to get one sign and you'll never get another one. They'll keep sending you signs. Okay. Let's move on. Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions about receiving signs before we move on to the readings? Okay. Well, then we are going to go ahead and do readings. First one is for Loki. Okay, so we're going to do Loki and we are going to do Harley, and I have some interesting things to share about both, and I think I'm going to have to put on the glasses for this. Okay, we'll begin with Loki. So Diane, if you're still watching, not sure that you are. If you're catching it on the replay, totally fine. The way that I like to do this, for those of you who may be watching this the very first time, I write down everything, unfiltered. I write it all down. I write everything I receive, and then I look to you to tell me the things that resonate with you, the things that make sense to you. And there may be things that don't make sense to you. There may be things that, like when we get to Harley, there may be some things. So I look for other people to comment as well. So I use the example of Milo. There was one time I was doing a reading for a Milo, and the person said, "That's not my Milo. Everything that you're saying to me doesn't make any sense." But then somebody else jumped in to say, "That's my Milo. That's the Milo I know." So it happened because there was 3 different Milos, and the same thing kind of happens with Harley. So we'll take a look at that. Sometimes Loki too. Okay. Hi, Diane. All right. So here's what we got for Loki. Loki, I'll try to make sense of this because sometimes it doesn't always come out in order. So much like last week's cat in terms of age, very much like the cat we talked about last week, yet different. So I did get a sense of old soul kind of stuff. The deep level of affection, a very deep level of affection. Do the animals that pass stay in the house? Oh, they're everywhere. We'll talk about that in a whole nother video. Christian, they are everywhere. The animals are everywhere. Okay, I'm going to concentrate on Loki. Deepest level of affection. I also got an instant, and cats do this a lot. I got an instant nausea, something instant in my stomach. Cats, for whatever reason, when they've got something going on intestinally through this whole area, I get a physical sensation. It's not anything that lasts, but I get it instantly. I know exactly what the feeling is. And if cats can burp, that's the sensation I got. Indigestion, stomach, nausea. So that came up. So I don't know if Loki ever had any of those issues, but feel free to let us know if Loki did. Loves the hiding places. Sometimes I can't read my writing. Loved all the hiding places. There were so many fun places to hide. All the hiding places, so many places. You'll still find him in all the hiding places. So if there are places in your home where he could hide, wander, explore, hiding, he is still there. And then the word rosebud came up and Citizen Kane. And then I just got a sense of old black and white movies. So I don't know what that was all about. But I got a sense of old black and white movies, if that means anything to you. And then stacks of newspapers. I had a smell, a strong smell of mustiness and newsprint, but it wasn't a bad smell. It was something that Loki really likes. I don't even know if this, you can tell me whether or not it makes sense. Stacks of newspapers, the smell of newsprint, musty but pleasant. And then instantly I was transported back. I saw long skirts, and I know, so I know Loki's human, but this came through clear as a bell. So please feel free to jump in with this. Long skirts, military, Civil War, Gettysburg. all that came up right. Like I had a sense that we were in Gettysburg and there was a woman with long skirts and a soldier. It was definitely the military. And Loki was a gray cat at that time. And I tried to get a sense of his name. It was not Loki, but I couldn't get the name. He was gray though. And his humans were the same humans he has right now. The humans that came through to me in that vision were the same humans, like you've been paired before, and paired forever. And of course, they all send the same message that they are perfectly fine. They are perfectly safe. They love you. They are right with you. And I know that it's a hard concept for everyone to understand, but it goes right back to Christian's question as well. They are here, there, and everywhere all the same time. Life on the other side is not like it is here. Our linear life here is not the same. They can be in multiple places at multiple times, but they don't ever leave you. You are their human companion, and they will always be by your side. Okay, so that's what I had for Loki. Now we are going to move on, and we are going to talk about Harley. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Harley, and I'm not sure if Harley's human is still on here. Harley's human asked on behalf of someone else. So I didn't have a picture of Harley. I don't have a picture of Harley, but I'll tell you what came through for Harley anyway. So I have trouble making connections with dogs named Harley, and there's a very specific reason for that. I spent almost 25 years living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And every other dog was named Harley. And then because that's where Harley Davidson is made. So every other dog was named Harley, and every other dog who wasn't named Harley was named Lambo, because it's all Green Bay Packers in Wisconsin. So Diane, oh my God, yes, I've always felt connected to Gettysburg. Loki's dad has a relative in Gettysburg. Okay, there's no way for me to know that. No way for me to know that. Thank you. Sharon, okay, so let's continue with Harley. So Harley, I have trouble with because every dog in Milwaukee is named Harley or Lambo, just like I like Chicago because I see this all the time. I know immediately anybody who's from Chicago because their dog is usually named Wrigley. So it works the same way. There's a lot of pets like that. So I have trouble disassociating the various animals or distinguishing between the various animals named Harley. So I'll do the best I can. I didn't have a photo of Harley. And let me know if anything resonates, and let me know if anything does not. And if anything doesn't resonate, I'd love to hear from other people if anything makes sense. Okay. The question that was asked about Harley was, oh, no, it wasn't even a question. It was a statement that Harley's human is concerned in particular about him. Harley's human lost 4 dogs over the period of a year. So I understand that. I had lost 3. To lose 4, it can be a traumatic thing. And she's concerned in particular about Harley. There is no need to ever be concerned about an animal. When an animal crosses to the other side, they're looking out for us now. They make it there safely. They don't get stuck between worlds. There is no, there isn't anything to be concerned about. There isn't anything that you need to worry about. They don't take an illness with them. They don't forget you. They don't get over there and be like, where am I? And where's all my people? Nothing like that. There's there's always someone there to greet them. They know everybody on the other side, and then they're right here by your side. So the reason for concern, specifically using that word, just don't even worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. Okay, for Harley, I'm going to give you some words that came through, and I'm going to give you some thoughts that came through. I don't know what kind of dog Harley is, and I've had a client that's a chocolate lab named Harley. Heinz 57 named Harley, a black lab named Harley. So I can't quite, but I am seeing a bigger dog. I'm not seeing a smaller dog. I'm seeing a lab-sized dog is what I see in my mind. But I don't necessarily know that it's a black lab though. But I'm just going to put that out there. Then the word journey came up. This particular dog is absolutely on a journey. And a wooden angel. I had the vision of a wooden angel. Was there something in the home where he was, where there's a wooden angel? I see this little, I don't know, I can't quite picture it, but it's definitely wood. and it's got wings. And I don't know why Harley crossed or what the reason was that Harley crossed, but I got a sense of something in my nose. Now, I don't ever like to use the C word. I think we have we go way down the rabbit hole when we hear the word cancer, but I got a sense of something deep inside my nose. Like I could feel something uncomfortable deep inside my nose. So I don't know if that was anything, and it was high up. It was high up and inside, and I got a sense of headaches. And all I did, it's not that Harley is still experiencing any of those things, but what they do is I ask for evidence. I ask for something to demonstrate to their human companion that it is them. And so that's the sensation I got, headaches, but free of all that, free of it all. Don't even worry about that for a minute when I tell you those things. Free of it all. So I'm going to look. He is a black lab and a tumor in the roof of his mouth. Okay. Then I have to trust that that's what comes through comes through. I guess, when a dog's face is shaped a little bit different, but that's where I got the feeling deep inside here. Then I got a picture of, okay, I got a song, and I'm just going to say, I got the Beach Boys, California Girls. Well, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, as I'm writing these things, I did mean to explain that. You guys, I like to do these things live, and things come through to me as I talk live. But as soon as I start to focus on the animal that I'm going to share, like for these live streams, it starts just coming through and I can't turn it off. So I write it all down. But as I'm writing these things down, the song The Beach Boys is playing in my mind, California Girls. He's a ladies' man, smitten by the ladies. I see him running in the snow, and not just running in the snow, but chasing snowflakes and chasing snowballs. Somebody throwing snow and him thinking that it's a real ball and chasing after the snowballs. And he thinks they're real. A partner in crime, that came through, like he has a twin. A partner in crime. I didn't see on the other side with him. I just couldn't get a sense of like 3 other dogs, but I got a sense of a partner in crime. I wrote the word twin, double trouble, that one other dog coming through loud and clear, that it was a partner in crime, double trouble, that they ate something, they were counter surfers, and that they played off of each other. One would do something to distract while the other did the deed, counter surfing, and then eating something that he shouldn't, like something that really upset his tummy. Then the words came through: baseball and Christmas ornaments and festive, and he loves a good party, and more than anything, he loves a good picnic. Again, I can't, I don't know where some of these things come from. I write it all down, and I don't judge it, and I don't filter it. He loves a good picnic. And I think that was it. Okay, so that was what I got. I'm just going back through my notes here, and then I jumped back in on signs. So I think we are all good. If anybody, okay, 18 Muses, you're from Milwaukee, Glendale specifically, Waukesha. He had a brother that sounds like that lived with us. Okay. Thank you for the live streams. They've been helpful. Okay. And you're very welcome. I do this because I just, number one, I love being able to connect with animals. This magical thing of being able to connect with animals on the other side of life that Lucy opened me up to just fills my heart up. Being able to help other people heal the way that my animals helped me heal. That is the most important thing, to bring comfort and healing to everybody. And Sherry says West Dallas. That's funny. We're making a big Milwaukee connection here. A big Milwaukee connection. Then you know exactly what I mean, that every other dog is named Harley or Lambo. Okay, my friends. I think that wraps it up for tonight. Future topics are going to include euthanasia. We're going to talk about animal communication. There are so many things that I would love to share with you to help you not only heal and find comfort and peace and connect with your animals on the other side, but to understand how our animals connect with us, even the ones who might still be sharing our home. It helps us have a better relationship with them, and it helps us when their time comes to cross to the other side as well. Okay. I'm glad you guys enjoyed everything tonight. And all right, my friends, have a beautiful night, and I will see you all again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.